Welcome back to Don't Repeat What Mommy Says.
Don't repeat it.
Don't do it. It's dumb.
Don't do it.
Um, so I think today we're talking about what was it? Relationship identities or something?
Like, your relationship shouldn't define your identity.
Okay.
So, I was online because I have to be, and I don't really want to be, I don't think, but I do. So, I'm on there, and this dude comes across my thing, and he did some reel about how relationships shouldn't define you. And I'm guessing from what he was saying, he was upset because I don't know if he's in his 30s or 40s or whatever, but he's single and he's tired of people asking him about like getting married, having children, do you have a girlfriend? And he doesn't think that relationships should define you. And he's like, even for married people, you shouldn't be defined by your marriage, by the fact that you're a mom, this or that. And I commented, like, I don't mind that people define me by those things because those are the things that define me. I said, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an author, and I'm a business owner. I said, and only really three of those matter, and it's not author or business owner. And he was like, no, all of them matter because all of them are who you are, which is true. Uh, but I said, right, but I don't mind somebody defining me by my marriage because from my marriage comes my family, and that is who I am. And then he's like, so relationships should define you? And I'm like, no, that's not really what I said at all. I just said that for a lot of married people, maybe we don't care that people define us by that. But maybe some married people do get upset about that. Like, I am an individual. I'm not just this and nobody's just one thing anyway. I don't think. And I felt bad for the guy too because I was like, I'm really not trying to upset you and say that your life is worthless because you're not married. I'm just saying for somebody to define me by that, I'm okay with it. Like, that's not going to bother me.
Well, and the way I've always seen it when you're defining somebody by their relationship to somebody, like, I wouldn't walk up and go, oh, hi, so and so's dad, or hi,
Right.
so and so's husband. I might ask if I wasn't sure that it was the person I was talking to, like, hey, aren't you, Stephanie's husband or something like that. If I wasn't totally sure, like I wasn't super familiar. But most of the time when I'm using like somebody's relationship to identify them, it's because I'm talking to somebody who might not know who I mean if I just said their name. So, like, when I talk about Mallory's husband, using his relationship, to my husband, I wouldn't just say, oh, Robbie said this, because my husband would look at me like I have two heads, because for a brief second he would have no idea who Robbie is. So, I mean, I think in terms of just using it to have an idea of who you're talking about or who they are, in relation to how you know them, can be really helpful.
Well, and I don't think, I think the guy meant well, trying to defend us married people. Um, but like I was talking to Lauren, who I am is dramatically different since being married twice, but more so by being a mom. Like, I can't be separated from mom.
Yeah.
Like, my entire, I would like to hear from other moms, but my entire being, like who I am, what I think, what I do, my priorities are completely different than they were before I was a mother. And for me, that's a good thing because I was kind of a mess. I mean, not kind of, I was a hot mess. Like, I don't even know what my life would be like if I hadn't given birth to another human being that I looked at one day and went, oh my God, I'm completely responsible for taking care of this person. I had best change my ass around.
Well, and I mean, we've seen that happen with other people when they became mothers. Like with Paige, she was not being very responsible. She was being kind of a crazy person,
Yes.
making poor decisions. She got pregnant and she's been much more responsible sense, not making those stupid decisions because she's got a kid to think about. And another one, there was that girl I grew up with. She ended up having a baby very young. I never liked her. I don't want to say her name because I don't want to like call her out
I
on the
know who you're talking
podcast.
about. I know who you're
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
never really liked her. We were kind of like on again, off again friends, but we fought a lot. She had a baby very young and like completely changed her life, changed her goals, changed her priorities. Like, I don't know what the trajectory of her life would have been if she had not had her daughter. But after having her daughter, she was like, I liked hanging out with her. We did stuff, had a good time. She, finished school, got a good job, took good care of her family because she had different priorities. Because being a mom did, in fact, change how she behaved, changed her, really, for the better.
I mean, and I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with, and I have felt this way too. Like that's it. Now I'm just a mom. I'm just a wife. I don't really know who I am anymore. And I think that's a very normal thing to go through. But I think this man who put that was younger than me too, And again, he's not going to understand where I'm coming from. He's not a parent, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't explain that to somebody like what that does to you internally. And I don't even know how it is for dads. I can just tell you for moms, at least for my own personal experience. But I'm older now, so I'm not in the trenches. I'm not, dealing with all of that. So I very rarely have this thing where I'm like, I don't know what my identity is. So I'm not crapping on that because I have felt like that plenty, especially when my kids were little, because you just feel like you're doing all these things, and it almost feels like you're pretending through life, like playing different roles. You know what I mean?
Well, and as much as I hate the phrase, people have talked about getting their pink back in motherhood, which is it's based on flamingos because when flamingos are raising babies, they lose the pink color
It's not
because
what I
it's so
thought it
stressful.
meant.
That's not what I thought it meant either.
I
Um,
get dirty like real fast.
yeah, me too. The apple does not fall far here.
I know, it's just like it's always been pretty pink, and we're okay there.
I, yeah, that's what I thought too. No, it's something with like flamingos with the
I'm
stress
glad
of,
you. I until just this moment, I didn't even know that was why. I still was kind of like,
yeah, they lose their color in that like first year of raising babies because it's so stressful.
what? I'm sorry. So they lose their pink.
Hang on. Oh, dang it, I can't do it while we're recording. I forgot to click a setting. It's fine. They lose their pink, and then as the babies get older and they start, being able to find more time for themselves, they turn pink again. So people started using that as a term for like finding your identity again in motherhood. It's getting your pink back. As much as I hate the phrase, I understand where it's coming from. You have to
Yeah.
kind of, because I honestly think it was a man who said this. He was talking about after your wife has a baby, like on a molecular level, her body is completely different. There are so many changes that happen in pregnancy, so many of them are permanent. And he was talking about basically she's learning to be a completely new version of herself that she's never met yet. So you have to learn that version of her too. So, like, yeah, there is definitely an adjustment period because it is a big change, like, probably the biggest change in your life is having a kid. Um, so I get feeling like you need to regain your identity, but somebody referring to you as the mother of your child, in my opinion, shouldn't be offensive.
No, but I think the guy was talking more about relationships, I guess. So maybe the whole marriage thing. Um, but I mean, like I have my children with my husband. I know that's not the case for everybody, so I really don't. I mean, so back where we used to live, my husband was a pretty well-known guy and pretty well known in his field of work, and his nickname was Lucky. And literally everywhere I went, somebody would be like, "Aren't you Lucky's wife?" Yes, I am, and he's lucky because I'm his wife. I mean, that's literally why they called him Lucky. So I was not offended by that, but I could see where somebody would get sick of that. Like I'm my own person. Um,
I got a little bit sick of it just because everyone would come up to me and go, "Aren't you Lucky's daughter?"
Yes.
And I'd just be like, "I have no idea who you are. Why do you know who I am?" But that's why I got sick of it. It wasn't the relationship. It was all these people I didn't know who were coming up and talking to me like they had known me my whole life. I'm like, "I've never met you before, sir."
Yeah, and I didn't really have a problem with it, but I could see where somebody would have a problem with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I just I feel like life is too short to get bunged up about shit like that. If you watch the podcast, you know my husband and I have had a lot of shit thrown at us throughout our marriage. We've been, we're going on 3 decades. So that is not something I am going to worry my pretty little head over. I don't care.
Well, and here's my thing with the relationship thing. So, when my husband was still active duty, people always referred to me as Talkemeyer's wife because they knew him by his last name from his uniform. I was Talkemeyer's wife. They didn't really know me any other way. I was just his wife. I picked him up from work. We came and we had lunch together, those sorts of things. But there was another married couple who were both active duty at the same base. Nobody referred to her as, I can't even remember the guy's last name. Nobody referred to her as, oh, it's his wife. Like they knew her in another capacity. So it was like, oh, yeah, that's so and so. So, I mean, if that's the only capacity they like know you from, of course that's what they're going to call you.
And I feel like, like say our book gets really famous or whatever. I don't think my husband would care if people were like, "Oh, you don't repeat what mommy says, husband." I
Right?
don't think he'd get. Would he care? I don't think so.
My husband would only care because he really doesn't want, like, he's not about the publicity thing. You will never see my husband in a reel or on a podcast or really even in like event photos that we post because he just does not want to be that public.
Yeah, but
But
so Dad is like he is a really good provider. He always has been. But his secret dream is that he could be a kept man. So if like I ever got like really famous and I was making all this money and he didn't have to work, he would totally be fine being arm candy.
I told my husband he's never allowed to be a house husband because we kind of trialed that before he went into the military, and he's terrible at it. So he doesn't get to be a house husband even if I make it big. Um,
Dad's pretty
Plus,
good, except for
he's
I
too
don't like how
fidgety.
I don't like Dad. I mean, he would never clean a bathroom, and that's fine. But I don't like how he launders my sweaters, and I don't know how to tell him because I don't want him to stop doing laundry. But at the same time, like my sweaters are all stretched out in the shoulder because he thinks he's doing a good thing by not drying them, but he puts them on that drying rack thing that's like really wide because I think he's trying to spread it out so it doesn't get wrinkled. It's still wrinkled, and now I have like really big shoulders. So
Yeah,
that's the only thing that would bother me. I might have to break down and be like, honey, please just don't wash my sweaters.
yeah. See, like, my husband could do the domestic stuff. He just kind of sucks at it. Like, he's a very much, he's gonna wait till it gets really bad and then do it all at once. And I can't live like that. Plus, he's like always got to have something to do. So I'm like, you can't ever be a kept man. You have to keep a hobby or a job of some sort to keep you busy.
Why is my room silent?
It's like,
I don't understand. I had it straight, I felt like before we started.
my neck is getting all red. I have to keep the air conditioner off to record in here, and I'm really white. So when I get hot, I get red really fast.
But what do I do about this? Because why is my head straight but the room is crooked?
It's probably the angle your camera's at and the wideness of the lens.
So someday we need to get famous so we can have somebody set this shit up because this is stupid. Like, I'm sorry
We
if I'm giving you.
we need a recording studio where I can have the air conditioner running while I'm recording so I don't look like Lobster Girl on every podcast through the summer. It's really hot in here.
Yeah, I'm just afraid I'm gonna give people vertigo.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh my gosh. So, we're talking about identity and stuff. Couple funny stories that I thought of, but the one I was at a bridal shower, and the bride's younger brother was trying to ask me a question, and he kept calling me Mrs. Talkemeyer. I don't know how many times he said Mrs. Talkemeyer before I realized he was talking to me. Because, like, nobody calls me that. They call me Lauren, or if it's like a doctor's office, they'll say Lauren Talkemeyer, the whole thing together. Nobody calls me Mrs. in my
You know
day
what
to
that
day.
means?
Huh?
It means you're getting old.
Means I'm getting old. Well, to be fair, their family is originally from like down south, so their mom very much drilled into them like the manners. So older married people are always Mr. and Mrs. But I'm pretty sure when he used to go to church with us, he always just called us by our first names. So hearing him do it at the bridal shower and calling me Mrs. Talkemeyer like totally threw me off.
Yeah, you're old now. You're a
I'm old
missus.
now. I'm a Mrs. It's okay. I don't
Which means
mind
I'm
being
like
old.
ancient now.
um,
But people don't really call me Mrs. Parnell too often. I just don't think people use uh, proper titles as much as they used to, you know?
They really don't. So, like, that's, I think, part of why it threw me off because I was telling my husband about it, and he's like, you do realize, like, we're going to have been married for 8 years. Like, this has been your last name for almost 8 years. I'm like, right, it's not that he used my last name, it's that he used Mrs., and it just didn't register he was talking to me.
I know you've been married for 8 years, and I still forget that your last name's Talkemeyer a lot.
Yeah, I think my favorite, so after we got married, some people, I know there's a bigger push now where people don't take their husband's last name. And I mean, you do you, I'm not judging that. But I
Mhm.
love when I get like obvious scam calls and they're asking for Lauren Parnell. I'll answer them and they'll be like, "Is this Mrs. or Miss Parnell?" And I'll be like, "I'm sorry, she's not with us anymore." There are so many people who think I died because I tell them like she doesn't exist anymore.
Uh, yeah, and t- somebody asked my maiden name not that long ago, and I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I
So,
was like, "What is my maiden name?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that I do know it."
well, and I've seen some women talk about how they don't use their husband's last name professionally. Like a lot of doctors, I've seen that.
Sure.
They'll go by doctor, whatever their maiden name is. And like, totally cool if that's what you want to do, because yeah, that is part of your identity, and that's a big thing, especially being a doctor. Like, that's a lot of schooling. You put some work in, so I can understand wanting to keep the credit for yourself. But
Well, yeah, and there are women who do that, like just keep their name completely, or they've changed their name, but they professionally still use their maiden name. Um, I think a lot of people do that just because, like, if you made a name for yourself before you married, you don't want to confuse everybody with it, I think. I don't really care how you do it because after the real ID thing, like, I wish to God I hadn't changed my name because I've been married twice. And let me talk to you about the crap I had to go through. I had to pay for my marriage license to my first husband, which I swear to God I didn't even want to remember that shit happened. I had to pay for the marriage license and the divorce decree before I could get this real ID. I had been divorced from him for over 25 years at that point. I was so pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? This son of a bitch is still costing me money.
well, and I already had a real ID when we moved here, but I was changing my license to a Wyoming license, and they told me they couldn't do it without my marriage certificate. And at this point, my husband and I had been married for 2 years, little over 2 years. And I was pissed because I'm like, I already have the real ID with my changed name. Why do I still need the stupid marriage license to get my ID changed to a different state?
Like, that's stupid.
So I
I
went,
didn't have to do that when I moved here.
I did, and I was pissed about it. And like, I had to I walked over to Andy's office because at the time he was working in the same building that the driver services thing was in. So I walked over to his office to go bitch about it, and here's my husband, Mr. Spreadsheet, always prepared. He pulls out a like folder, like a file folder, and goes, "I have our marriage license right here."
I didn't even know people kept marriage licenses, but apparently Dad has ours. I'm like, we have a marriage license? He's like, well, yeah, we got married. I'm like, he's like, don't you have a copy of it? I'm like, apparently I don't need to.
I um I only kept the like decorative one that we got from the church
I
when we
don't,
got married. It's not even the official one.
I don't even know. Did we have a decorative? I don't even know. I don't know.
I don't know. We have the fancy decorative one from the church that like doesn't mean anything legally, but I threw it in the wedding photo album because I had it. So, but you don't have a wedding photo album or anything really, so
I do not. I do not. We did not. We did not pull out all the stops for getting married. And I was fat when we got married too. Like I wasn't like at my fattest, but I was like chubby. So I, we got married on the fly kind of. And so I was looking for a dress, and I wanted a white dress, but I wasn't gonna go buy a wedding dress because it wasn't really that kind of wedding. So I found this dress, and it isn't me. Like it is not my style. I was rumpy as shit. Like standing next to this tall, thin guy. It's not a pretty. I mean, you've seen the wedding pictures. It's not good
yeah.
at all. So I did not want to commemorate that at all. Really.
That's like the person who asked if we wanted to save the top of our cake. I had the ugliest wedding cake. I can't even show you
It was
guys.
pretty horrible.
I have pictures of it. The problem is the pictures actually make it look better than it was in person.
It was bad.
It was
Like
what, like a
it
it
looked like a kid's craft project. It
well,
was
it was really crooked. It was like a three-tier cake. It was crooked and like the design was all kinds of wonky and it was supposed to be navy blue and burgundy frosting roses and they were cut out of construction paper and you could
and they
still
were
see.
white. Weren't they white?
No, they were the right colors, but they had white edges on all the leaves where the paper was cut because it was like really cheap craft paper that they used to make them.
Yeah,
It was
it was
it was so
bad.
bad. So somebody asked while we were cutting the cake, like, "Don't you want to save the top?" And I just started laughing and said no because it's ugly.
It was a pretty bad cake.
I feel like it tasted good though. I remember it being decent.
It did taste good. It was from Sam's Club.
Yeah,
Was it Sam's Club or Costco?
one of the two. We got the cake for free. Like it was so bad that the bakery was like, "We're not charging for that. It's crap."
Yeah, it was
So,
crap. I think they forgot about it, and the baker wasn't there, and so some poor kid back there like there's some shit together. We always have problems with your cakes because your christening cake. I went to pick it up, and honestly, it was like this white cake, and in yellow letters, it said, like God's blessings or something, Lauren. I'm like, it looks like somebody peed in the snow. I'm like, you find someone to make a different cake because I'm a freak about cakes, but Paige had a beautiful christening cake that I had a picture of, and I was like, I will be damned if my second daughter then goes through pictures later in life and sees this thing that looks like somebody peed her name in the snow.
yeah,
And she's like, I knew you loved her more. I just didn't know. Mm-mm.
I'm I'm feeling the pressure because I have to make Aaliyah's cake for Saturday, and I can make a delicious cake, but I've never been super good at making them pretty. So like they want it simple. It's just chocolate with frosting. But then Aaliyah changed up the design. It was originally going to be white with blue frosting. Now it's I think purple with blue frosting. So
The cake is purple?
no, the I'm sorry. The cake was originally going to be white frosting with a blue border. Now she wants it to be purple frosting with a blue border. So
Wow, that's gonna be weird.
it's gonna be weird. Like light blue and light purple. So I'm gonna have to take out like 20 dozen eggs from my refrigerator to fit the cake in there.
You know what pisses me off? So I'm trying to do those cured. Should we end this?
We should probably end this. This has been somewhat about relationships, I guess, and we got
We're
real off
done with that
topic.
now.
We're done with that. We're over it.
Well, no,
Sorry.
this is
Cake
it.
tangent.
We're moms, and that is our friggin' identity.
It
And I'm
is.
just gonna talk to you about curing the egg yolks.
Okay, we're gonna leave this in here because the cured egg yolk sounds super good.
Right. So I put the egg yolks in because I was gonna wait until I had like a dozen before I cured the egg yolks. Right.
Yeah.
So I put them in this little container with a lid. I put it in the fridge, and I told everybody like, these are my egg yolks. Don't mess with my egg yolks. Don't break my egg yolks. Like, well, I opened up the refrigerator today to put more egg yolks in there because I do my 2 eggs plus 3 egg whites for my breakfast because I'm trying to gain muscle and I'm that person now. And one of my egg yolks was broken. I'm like, who the fuck broke my egg yolk. I was so pissed. Nobody will fess up. Everybody says they don't know what happened. Like, so it
Oh,
just
uh-huh.
burnt like a pimple right there by itself in the fridge.
Yep, bastards.
Okay, are we ending
All
this?
right,
I
we're
think I
ending
know
this.
about my
Peace out,
crumbly egg
people.
yolk.
You heard about cured egg yolks.